Hi there, I'm Azaria Tagaya, and thanks for joining us on another episode of Ringgit Cents Plus, the show where we talk about personal finance. Now, our handphones have become just as important as our wallets, and it's something that you won't leave home without these days. Those of you who are more tech savvy may use it for banking transactions, e-wallets, to book flights, buy apps, movies, and many other things. Now, the world is practically in your hands, so it shouldn't come as any surprise that the taxman wants his share too. Now, the government is amending the services tax bill to include digital tax at a rate of 6% per annum, with the annual threshold at 500,000 ringgit. Now, this will affect foreign registered persons or companies providing digital services to consumers in Malaysia. So what this means is if you buy apps from Apple or Google Play Store or subscribe to Netflix and Spotify, then you're most likely going to be paying more when the company passes the tax on to you. Now, the tax will only be enforced from 1st January 2020, but we have many questions that we want to ask concerning how it will affect consumers. So we have with us today in the studio Dato' Abdul Aziz Abu Bakar, the president of the Malaysian Association of Tax Accountants, to answer our questions. Dato', thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, so first off, we want to know what exactly is the digital tax and how will it affect consumers?
Okay, first of all, we need to understand the digital tax per se. It is not merely digital tax. It is actually a service tax to be imposed. Basically, what we are having now. If I can give you an example of a pay TV station, they are already paying the service tax. If you look at a simple, for example, a package, a pay TV package of about 146, we are now the consumer are now paying tax about if I'm not mistaken, it's about $8. So practically, the consumer are paying tax to the government, and the service provider locally are paying service tax to the government. But there are foreign service providers, like, as you said, like Netflix, Spotify, Google, Facebook. They are providing their services everywhere in the world, which includes Malaysia. And they are earning income from Malaysia, but they are not paying tax in Malaysia. So what the sections has done is actually to get these people to be registered and get these people to pay a fair amount of tax in Malaysia, and the rate is the same at 6%. So basically what we intend to do, or what the government intends to do, is actually to get them to be registered first. That is the first thing that they have to do. And according to the proposed amendment, or it has been amended, it becomes an act now. What the companies have to do now is by 3 months before the effective date, before the commencement date of the digital tax to be imposed from 1st January 2020, meaning by October, starting in October, this foreign service provider, registered service provider, has to register their business, has to register themselves in Malaysia with the Customs Department. Then by 1st January 2020, whatever service they provided in Malaysia, there will be a portion of 6% service tax. Meaning, if they are charging about Netflix are charging about $14 now per package, meaning there will be an additional 6% of service tax to be imposed to the customer, to the user in Malaysia. So basically, what it translates is actually it is being translated into the increase of the cost of us getting the service provider to perform their service in Malaysia at the end of the day. But there are instances where in some other countries where the service provider absorb the amount of service tax or the digital tax, and it is not being passed on to the customer. We don't know yet in Malaysia whether they are going to absorb or whether they are going to pass on the portion of service tax to the consumer in Malaysia. But normally business entity won't absorb. Of course, they won't reduce their profit margin, and it will pass on. It will be, they will pass on the service tax to the people, the individual in Malaysia.
Okay. what if the consumer actually buys some sort of software or app from a company that isn't collecting the digital tax? Then will they be penalized, or how will the system work then?
Okay, the system won't penalize the user, meaning the individual, the receiving side. It is actually the imposition of the tax. It's actually at the business entity level. The entity which provides the services, meaning if it is not compliance, if they don't comply with the laws and regulations, it will be penalized to the business entity and not the consumer, not be as a consumer. Meaning if they are not, the enforcement in the imposition of tax is actually to the business entity. It's actually to the business, the service tax, the service provider. It is not to us. But again, the issue is actually how do you get these people to be registered in terms of, because I was saying just now, by starting October, you need these people who are providing the services in Malaysia, they have to be registered as a registered person in Malaysia in providing the service tax. I mean the services in digital service in Malaysia. But what if they don't? So what can we do? So that is the issue of in terms of imposition. But interestingly, there's a section in the Act, I think it's under section 56B or 56C. So what the government has done is actually, if they don't register, the business entity, the foreign business entity don't register, the minister has the power to get them to be registered, meaning it get them into the system.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing with us about the digital tax, and hopefully we will find out more about this as time progresses.
Okay, all right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Well, that was Dato' Abdul Aziz Abu Bakar, the president of the Malaysian Association of Tax Accountants, talking to us about the digital tax. Now, you can watch the interview again, as we will be uploading the full clip onto our Facebook page in just a bit. Now, we're going for a short break now. When we come back, we take a look at the food bank program and how students are using it to save money. Stay tuned. Back on Ringgit Cents Plus, thanks for staying with us. Now, we're sure by now you've heard about the Food Bank Malaysia program, which was launched by the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, aimed at helping those from the B40 income group. Now, basically, supermarket chains involved in the program supply their surplus raw ingredients daily, which is then supplied to families. Now, as an extension of the program, this initiative was also recently provided for students in local universities. The ministry hopes to tackle the problem of students having to starve through their uni years and help those who don't have enough money to buy food. So how does the program work and who can benefit from it? Also, how much money can students save daily? Let's watch. We went to University Malaya, to witness the launching of Food Bank Siswa Malaysia there. According to the organizer of Food Bank Malaysia, Abdul Munir, the program was originally started to help Malaysians who are earning less than 940 ringgit a month. However, they've recently expanded this initiative to help students in public universities, as students in universities are also facing difficulties in having a proper meal with their tight budget.
Dalam food bank ni sebenarnya, kalau saya boleh share, dia ada beberapa elemen lah kita boleh gunakan untuk melaksanakan food bank. Sebab food bank ni adalah satu program, kita sama ada satu tempat tu ataupun universiti tu dia boleh buat food pantry ataupun central kitchen. Dia ada dua. Food pantry ni maksudnya dia letakkan barang-barang kering ataupun kegunaan asas dekat pantry. So bila student-student yang memerlukan bantuan yang perlu, dia akan pergi kepada pantry tu, mungkin dia akan buat sistem by using card ataupun buku rekod, akan ambil barang dan untuk kegunaan dia lah bila dia perlu. Tapi kalau untuk central kitchen pula, dia akan masakkan barang-barang mentah yang kita dapat daripada pasaraya. Sebab selama ni pasaraya supply kita buah-buahan, sayur-sayuran, dan ada sekarang ni kita tengah nak explore barang basah lah, maknanya macam ayam, untuk kita tambahkan protein dalam makanan tersebut lah.
About 10 large supermarkets and hotels are currently active contributors to this initiative, involving a total of 430 outlets nationwide. One of the main challenges for the food bank program is ensuring that the food doesn't go bad, is clean and safe to be consumed. The other major challenge is also finding people to help run it.
Okey, menyediakan makanan ni sebenarnya kita salah satu rukun program food bank ni adalah penggerak. So penggerak ni kita gunakan NGO yang dah memang selama ni dah memang buat aktiviti food bank ni. Kita ada 3 rakan strategik, kita ada Food Aid Foundation, Kewangan Kitchen dengan Mutiara Food Bank. Okay. So dalam menyediakan makanan ni, this NGO yang prepare. Tapi kebanyakan bila kita bercakap tentang food pack ataupun Central Kitchen, kita banyak gunakan kepakaran daripada Food Aid Foundation because dalam Food Aid Foundation ni dia ada kepakaran dia ada chef-chef sebagai peserta sekali untuk masak kepada student-student. Memang kita sepanjang kita laksanakan program food bank ni, that is our top priority. Sebab that's why dalam kita punya komiti kita libatkan sekali Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia. So they are the expert untuk find out sama ada makanan itu masih boleh dimakan ataupun sudah tidak boleh. Contoh macam kalau kata salah satu NGO kita dia dapat satu donor untuk berikan barang mentah lah normally. Dia bukan terus dapat itu dan terus bagi kepada penerima. Normally dia akan ambil barang tu dulu sebagai sampel, hantar kepada makmal untuk tengok berapa lama barang tersebut tahan lah. So daripada situ kita calculate balik. Adakah barang ni kena bagi immediate kepada penerima ataupun kita boleh frozen dulu and then kita re-engineer balik makanan tersebut. Jadi dalam aspek kebersihan makanan tu, keselamatan makanan tu memang menjadi keutamaan dan that's why kita collaborate dengan Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia.
Munir says to qualify as a food bank recipient, students must come from families with an income of less than 1,000 ringgit per month. Currently, Food Bank Malaysia does not provide 3 hot meals a day throughout the week as they don't have the capacity to do so yet. For now, the food bank in UM provides students with 1 or 2 cooked meals a day from the central kitchen, and it's on a first-come, first-served basis.
Pelajar yang menerima, dia ada total 1,000 orang pelajar yang menerima sebenarnya. Tetapi dalam satu masa, bukanlah semua 1,000 orang itu akan dapat. Kita akan buat rotation punya basis lah. Sebab kita sekarang ni, kita bergantung kepada barangan yang disumbangkan. So kalau kita nak siapkan untuk 1,000 orang dalam satu masa, memang agak mustahil. Jadi kita akan buat rotation basis. Mungkin kita buat 500 pertama hari ini, 500 kedua mungkin minggu depan, that kind of rotation lah. Tapi itu bergantung kepada sumbangan yang diberikan dan juga pihak universiti lah boleh decide in term of scheduling of pemberian tersebut.
We went around the campus and asked the students there how they budget their money.
For one meal, right, I spend more than 6 ringgit. Yeah. But like if it is per day, maybe I spend about 20 ringgit. Yeah, it's quite a lot actually.
Okay. Depends. Kalau saya makan sekali saya spend around 5 ringgit je. 5 to 10 ringgit lah per day.
Personally lah, kalau saya spend dalam lebih 15 ringgit jugalah sebab tapi bergantung jugalah, kadang saya memang tak makan, saya ada yang saya makan 10 ringgit je, tapi on average lah 10 ringgit je kot.
From the interview, we realized that most students spent less than 20 ringgit a day for food and often skips breakfast. Now, let's try to calculate how much money a student can save by not eating out. Let's say this student starts the day by ordering a plate of roti canai, which can cost anywhere between 1 ringgit and 50 sen to 2 ringgit per plate. For lunch and dinner, let's assume this student has a plate of chicken rice or a bowl of curry mee, typically costing around 6 ringgit and 50 sen to 8 ringgit per serving. He or she would have spent something between 14 ringgit and 50 sen to 18 ringgit in a day. And that's not including drinks or snacks purchased throughout the day. So all in all, this student can save a little less than 20 ringgit on days when he receives the food aid. Additionally, if he chooses to obtain food products from the food pantry, he may save even more, as cooking his own meals can help save a lot more money over time. Besides helping students for a free meal, this program also manages to save leftovers. Our advice for those struggling to make ends meet, especially students, is to try to get a part-time job or maybe start a business. The skills you learn will also help you secure a job in the future, as it will provide you valuable experience. Well, so far there are 430 supermarkets and hypermarkets nationwide that have stated their commitment in assisting the food bank program in Malaysia. So with that support, the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs aims to have the program running in 20 public universities by the end of the year, reaching an estimated total of 20,000 students nationwide. Now, we certainly look forward to that. Well, coming up next, we have our partners from Ringgit Plus join us in the studio to talk about life insurance, so stay tuned. We'll see you after the break. Back with us on Ringgit Sense Plus. Now, earlier we spoke about the digital tax and also about the food bank program for Malaysian students. And you can watch those videos again later on our Facebook page. Now, for this part of the show, we are again turning to our Facebook page, where we often get a lot of questions from you, the viewers, about personal finance. And to help answer these questions, we'd like to welcome back Bruce Tam, Head of Financial Advisory Channel at Ringgit Plus. Hi, Bruce.
Hi.
Welcome back
Thanks for
to
having
the
me again.
set of Ringgit Sense Plus. Okay, so this week we have a question from one of our viewers and his wife. So we've changed some of the data to sort of not give you everything about the individual that has sent the question in. But basically, this guy, let's call him Faris, and his wife, Zeti, they're both 28. They have a joint income of 8,000 ringgit, and they have 2 kids aged 4 and 6 years old. So basically, they are looking at getting life insurance. But they recently heard that there's also Takaful life insurance. So Faris is asking, is there really a difference, and what should they know before they purchase their insurance?
Okay, in Malaysia, there are basically 2 types of insurance, right? The conventional one, which we have known all our lives, right? And also the more recent one being the Takaful life insurance. Now, both of them have the same purpose, which is to provide financial protection in the event of any unforeseen circumstances, unforeseen events. Now, let's start with conventional life insurance.
Okay.
For conventional life insurance, it's basically a transfer of risk of an individual or a business to an insurance company. So what this basically means is that instead of bearing the cost of a loss yourself, right, you are giving it to an insurance company, which in turn will take up that risk and offer you a certain protection. Now, in order to achieve that, one has to pay a premium, and this premium will contribute towards an insurance policy. And the insurance company, what we will do, it will issue you that policy for a payment and undertakes to compensate you in the event of a loss.
Okay.
Yep. So that's for conventional. Yep. For Takaful life insurance, it's on a little bit of a different concept, whereby it provides protection based on Islamic law or Sharia principle. Now, what this means is that Takaful, it refers to a concept of mutual cooperation, which whereby risk and also profits, whereby its benefits is shared among all the participants. Now, all the participants, what they will do is they'll contribute a sum of money to a common Takaful fund, in the form of a donation. This donation is basically called Tabaru, right? And based on this mutual contract, right, which is this mutual contract is called akan, which literally means tying together. It's just like marriage.
Just like the akad nikah, I
Correct.
understand.
Correct. So this akad, it literally is one can participate in this contract by contributing and mutually agreeing to help each other. And should anyone suffer loss, then this fund will contribute towards that person.
Okay.
Yep.
So those are the differences between takaful
Oh, there's
and
more.
life insurance. Okay.
Oh, there's more.
What else should we know about?
Yep. Okay. Now, for takaful, the fund is managed by a takaful operator instead of an insurance company.
Okay.
Yep. And in the event of a need, the takaful operator will take the fund and help that person in need. Yep. And the takaful operator is also responsible to invest the funds for income, for investment income.
Okay.
So, but these funds, they will have to be devoid of, because it's Sharia compliant,
Yeah.
right? It has to be devoid of things like uncertainty, interest, and also gambling. Okay. So once a fund generates a surplus, this fund is shared among the participants, and this includes the takaful operator as well. Yep. Okay. So basically, in a nutshell, the key differences are for conventional life insurance, a policy is purchased from an insurer, and the insurer will bear the risk. Whereby takaful, it will be individual entering into an agreement, contribute to a fund, and this fund will help someone in need should there be an unforeseen event. Okay. The second one will be the conventional insurance companies. They are free to invest in any legal instruments that they want. For takaful, it's only for Sharia compliant investment vehicles, yeah, such that I've mentioned earlier.
Okay.
The third one would be for conventional insurance, whatever profit it belongs to the shareholders of the insurance company. For takaful, it's distributed back to the participants.
I see.
So that's pretty much the difference.
So basically, those are some of the key differences between
Correct.
takaful and life insurance. But now that we know the differences, which one is better for a couple such as Faris and Zeti, who have 2 young children and they're looking at their options right now? So what would you advise them?
So I suppose it's actually a preference. Both life insurance and also conventional life insurance and takaful life insurance are free for all. Anyone can take it up, and anyone can be an agent of both life, conventional life, and also takaful life insurance. So it's basically a preference because ultimately it's one goes on the Islamic principles, and the other one is actually open to anyone. So for the ones who are a little bit more particular where their funds invest to, then they may want to consider takaful because it's basically halal in that sense.
In the Islamic way.
Correct.
Is there any one type of insurance which is cheaper, maybe?
It's basically very similar. Yeah, both the contribution that you contribute towards the takaful fund and also the premium that you pay into an insurance company are basically very, very similar. So I think in the end, the difference is that you get back something at the end of each year for takaful.
I see. Okay. Well, hopefully with what you've shared with us today, our viewers know somewhat of the differences between takaful and life insurance. And if they need any more clarification, I guess they can always contact us on Facebook or even Ringgit Plus.
Yes, thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, guys, that's the end of today's show. And once again, we would like to thank all of our guests for their time. And thank you to you as well for watching. And for more videos on personal finance, as always, you can go to our Facebook page, as we said just now, and connect with us there. And if you have something that you want to know about personal finance, please do message us on Facebook and we will answer your questions on the show. I'm Azaria Tagaya signing off. We'll see you again next time. And remember to invest and save wisely. in next week and visit ringgitplus.com today for more Ringgit wisdom. This show is brought to you by Ringgit Plus.